I'm here with Abdullah. We're outside London Stadium. United have lost today, Abdullah. Coming here, we kind of half expected it after seeing the team news, didn't we?
Yeah, I think the team news really changed the mood for me. What I don't understand is the last 20 minutes of that Leicester game, I think we were on top in terms of our tempo. You know, Andreas coming central just to look a lot more comfortable now. Andreas might not be a Manchester United player in a year or two, and it might not work out for him, and loads of people don't rate him. And I've still not figured out, where he fits into this team. But play your players in their best positions in this side. He's played out on the right 3 times, I think, or 4 times now this season. One good game, I'd say Chelsea did his defensive duties well. But then against Leicester, as soon as he comes central in the last 20 minutes when Fred comes on, just looks a lot more natural on the ball. And I think those little bits in midfield that need to be changed. Again, like Matic at times in the first half, like I'm not his biggest fan, but he did keep things tight, move the ball, did what he does. But
it's very one-dimensional.
That's the thing. The thing is, yeah, again, like he does what he does well, which is like keeping things tight in front of the defence, and
there's no movement.
There's just
so one-dimensional.
Because you got McTominay there. Do you need that in that?
Is it just Matic's fault though? Because we were sat together in the game, and you were like, "What are we doing on the training pitch?"
Yeah, I think that's what I noticed today. I get what our game plan is to, for example, press from certain areas of the pitch, but there's no sort of structure to that. There's no sort of plan to who goes and who drops in. There was a couple of times where Marcus would pressure the defender, and we're like, there was one where I think he pressured Isaac Diop in the box, and then who was following him in there? We would have got the ball and would have scored. And it's just those fine bits of when do you press? Are we getting coached the right way? What is our style? And that's the thing, like, outside of what's happening in terms of our style and all of that, I think the restructuring of the club has gone right in terms of what Ollie wants.
It's very slow, isn't it?
But as a footballing side, we don't look like we've improved, and that's a problem. Like, I think behind the scenes, Ollie's restructured the club properly. I think bringing in 3 players who've arguably been our best 3 players at the start of the season is a good sign. We've not had that post Sir Alex. But the style of football, we don't really know what it is, and I think that's a problem right now.
We didn't replace the midfielders, the attackers that we lost in the summer as well. That's obviously coming back to haunt us now. But do you feel we had enough there to get that win?
It just wasn't enough on that pitch. In the end, there wasn't enough clear.
So is it not a worry? We're going into games against Leicester, we're going into games against West Ham, and we're underdogs.
That's the worry. Like that's the problem. You look at Leicester. They got a more reliable sort of striker the other day. They got more reliable creators. Obviously, Pogba's out. They've got Maddison in, and you'd say you might fancy them just off that. Obviously, you look at their back line. That's probably better. But you look at West Ham today. Declan Rice, Noble today, we both had a good game for West Ham. You'd say they won't get into United's side, but the rest of the side, Felipe Anderson was dangerous. Sebastian Haller looked like a senior striker, like a proper striker. What's
going on with our strike force? Like, you look at that Rashford today. He shouldn't have started midweek, and he comes off injured there today. Now we've got no one. Mason Greenwood wasn't even on the bench. Not sure if that's down to an injury, but he looked fine when he went off midweek.
I think the problem is we've just been over-reliant on certain players. We're an unsettled club, there's no doubt about that. Even if things were going well at the start of the season, we'd still be considered an unsettled club. And you're relying on a 21-year-old academy product, to be scoring week in, week out, and it's a disgrace. The fact that we didn't even bring in, I don't care if it was a Mandzukic, a lot of people having a moan, but he's a reliable striker. The man scored goals in a Champions League final, in World Cup semi-finals, and we needed that. We needed players to come in. Now, we should be aiming for bigger players, but the fact that we didn't get anyone in, we just started off the whole transfer market in the end without bringing in a striker. Because Lukaku is a bagsman. He does score goals. It just didn't work out for him. We should have replaced the goals. You can't just rely on Martial, Marcus Rashford.
Obviously, Solskjaer and any manager deserves time, but when you don't get the results, pressure's going to build. Yeah. We've only won 2 of our 6 games this season. We've not won an away game since March. When you were there in Paris. It's not been great in terms of results. Now, how does he kind of steady the ship and keep it going? Because we can all agree he needs another window or 2, but then we can all agree if he doesn't get the results, the pressure's going to build.
I think for Ollie now, he really needs to sort out,
I'm sorry to interrupt, lads, but I'm not being paid for the 999 song from last time. How many years ago was that? How many years ago was it?
It's in the post.
Honestly, so all my life story, everything.
Just write this season off. It is what it is.
Let me tell you, mate. Let me tell you. United fans need to support the team. I know the team is shit, but get behind the fucking team. Sorry for swearing. Please edit that. But always remember, that Red Devils, is it called?
Full-Time Devils.
Full-Time Devils are still not paying me for the na 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 song. No, seriously, I got interviewed at Southampton again a few years ago. So I'm on my life story, T-shirt and all that shit. But still to this day, true.
He's coming. I'll have it for you at the next game.
When is it? Just pay us cash, please. Listen, if anyone else...
Taxman's not watching, don't worry.
Listen, don't worry about Taxman. All I can say is, listen, anyone who's watching this or listening to this sort of thing, next away game you go to, get behind the team, lads, because if we don't get behind the team, then we've got no fucking chance of winning. The team are half shit, the fans are worse. Please take that in the right way.
Martin,
God bless.
Much,
hey, always remember, nah.
Love Martin. Abdul, any final words before we go?
Yeah, you just left us on, in regards to what happens with Ollie now. And I think he needs to, install an identity into the side in terms of our style. Of course he's brought those players in, and like I said, the three players that he's brought in have looked arguably our best players in this season, which is a good step. But what is our style? There's a couple of mistakes on there on the pitch where you're like, is the coaching correct? Without Pogba, you miss a lot of quality, and obviously, again, Pogba with an unsettled side, we've seen when it goes wrong with him, it really does go wrong, and when he's at his best, he's incredible. So it's just, again, we're in that transitional period, and you've just got to see what happens until the end of the season. But it goes back to the board, mate. It goes back to the fact that they're not fooling. They can't be fooling anyone, because they let Lukaku go. We bought Fred and Delo in last summer. We pretty much spent the same money as City, and City have already just won the league, and they just keep improving, harrowing teams 8-0. So it's a disgrace.
Cheers, man. Dave, what are you doing? Going to get your stuff and come in.